part of Project 571, genetically engineered vampire created to destroy evil.
What do you want?
We need your help to kill a vampire.
Malleus Maleficario. It was written by a witch. The first witch. Titania.
That was a little snippet from The Witch's Hammer, the first film I ever solo directed, and it's just been remastered and re-released on Amazon. So if you like witches and vampires, then please do check it out. Anyway, let's get on with this week's episode. Hi, Jim here, and you're listening to the Honest Filmmaker Podcast, career advice from people in the business. This week, I'm speaking to fitness guru, trainer, actress and performer, Kerstin Schulze. Kerstin started out in fitness, competing in the Junior Olympics in Germany. She then moved over to America and started her acting career. And most recently in a featured role in the Righteous Gemstones alongside Danny McBride, John Goodman and Walton Goggins. On your big biography, I've got fitness guru, trainer, actress, performer. Describe to me how you would describe yourself.
That's a good question. A fit creative.
Fit creative. Oh, that's interesting because that does seem to be, look at all your work, that does seem to be this kind of line between those two parts of you. What came first? I'm assuming it was the fitness.
The fitness came first. Ran the Junior Olympics in Berlin and was a silver medalist. So that was when I was 12. And I got on stage when I was 15 writing comedy and improv, and that came second. It stayed in my life all my life where, so fitness came first, and then theater, and then fitness came back, and I got on stage in all the magazines, and then an agency reached out to me, and I got into commercials, and then that led into me studying in detail more on acting, and that led me to bigger roles.
Right. And when you said you started off doing theatre, so you're originally from Germany.
I'm originally.
So were you acting in German before you came over here?
I did, yes. I was all in German.
Right.
Yeah.
All in German. And how, jumping ahead a bit here, but how has your German background, do you think, informed this new kind of American stage of your life?
Are we talking politically or theatrically right now?
No. Right, let's not go into politics. Wrong show. No, I guess culturally and in your personality, do you think that has any effect on the roles you end up doing now?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I always say you lead with what you're given, right? What your talent is. So I was led with my body and then also with my accent. They usually definitely wanted somebody international or German speaking, this intimidating German woman or the sexy vixen, So those are the roles that I usually were offered at first. And that's, what I'm doing right now on HBO. I was playing a Kung Fu German nanny, that is
Of course you are. Of course you
playing
are.
opposite Walton Goggins, the baby.
Yes. And it's interesting that because I chatted to a stuntman, Adam Basil. He's tall, very kind of big, muscly fitness person. You're like 6 foot, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
6 foot tall, very physically fit. And as a stuntman, he found that he would go up for these jobs. He'd do like a Marvel movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
They'd want 20 guys who were all kind of average height, average build. But the role they'd want him for, fortunately, would be a speaking role, be a small speaking role, but it would be kind of like a featured role. So do you find even these days that those are just the parts you're going for, or are you auditioning for all sorts?
I'm going for both, to be honest. Anything that gets me into the door is great with me. I always say any opportunity will get another opportunity. So I don't shut them down because I was blessed with having a physique. So yes, does it come with an obstacle because they do see you in a certain way? Yes. And you have to definitely be now in the drama department more and being more, having more speaking parts, comes with either creating your own opportunity or, hoping you're going to get that opportunity by making relationships with people. So whenever I film something, you make relationships, and it's all about networking, right? In the industry, one role, now you're meeting the writers, and they had minimal parts for you to say, and then the next role they're like, oh, she can actually do this and this too, because I spoke to her and we've seen her. And somebody with the Righteous Gemstone, I have more to say. I get to really, and you'll see, we have the nuances that I have as a nanny was pretty amazing, and it was to this day my biggest role, as far as not just being this physical, intimidating woman that picks up people or damages things, but to be actually have a heart and have something to say, have depth, have soul, and so to answer your questions right now, it started physical, and it starts moving into the direction where I do get more speaking part roles.
Yeah. And do you, going into those auditions, how do you handle nerves? What are your tips for dealing with an audition?
A great acting coach of mine said to me, Billy Gallo, he said to me, being excited and being nervous is the same feeling. So just be excited and own the feeling. It's okay. Whenever we go into an audition, whatever you feel is authentic, and they want to see authentic. I mean, obviously, you got to know your lines. If you have to be in your head about your lines, then you can't be authentic. But if you know your lines, and whatever you feel in the day, if you were upset and you had a big sandwich before and you feel full and you feel gassy or whatever, play with it, own it. They love authenticity. They love that you're doing something that they wouldn't expect. Maybe a lot of my roles that I booked is something that they didn't expect. I went and I took a risk. I just said, you know what, I'm going to be authentic who I am, and either they like it or not, but at least they got to see something new.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, actually, not drawing loads of comparisons just because you're fit, you're German. And I know he wasn't German, but Arnie, physically fit actor that you would think would only end up doing one thing, but a little bit like you, really good at comedy, because I've seen, a lot of your stuff is comedy, and I don't know why I would assume Germany comedy. Where's that come from? And is that just something that's natural, or do you have to work really hard at that?
I love comedy. I love comedy and drama. It's my wheelhouse. I write comedy. I write my own sketches. My favorite movies are comedy. It just, I don't know. I just love making people laugh. There is something about that is just fulfilling for me. And of course, when you're tall and you can make fun of yourself, walking into a room as a woman and you're tall and you have a certain look, people already are either intimidated or whatever, and then you take the air out of the room by just being funny. And I think it just came with it, and it's fun to be funny.
And what about looking at some of the people you've worked with, big heavy hitters in comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Does that ever get intimidating when you're opposite like an Amy Schumer or somebody like that who's really famous and good at making people laugh?
At first, you can have an imposter syndrome a little bit. I remember when I met Amy and we filmed together. She was such a nice person. And all the people, like even Danny McBride and John Goodman, and all the people that I have met, there was at first like, oh, I'm here, or being directed by Angela Bassett. I was, there was a moment you like, whew, your heart is racing, you have an imposter syndrome, and then you said, no, I belong here. I have a talent, and they want me here. That's why they gave me this job, and now I just have to deliver. And on top of it, they were super nice, super cool. They all had to start somewhere. They all were at that spot where I am at, and I think that helped a lot to feel at ease, to be around these people. And it's just like you and me talking right now.
Well, I'm sure it wouldn't be like that for me, but I understand where you're coming from. So you're talking about Angela Bassett, and that's American Horror Story.
Correct.
So what's it like going into a big show like that? And how do you sort of handle that? Talk me through what that experience was like for you.
That was one of my first bigger jobs on a big show, and it was all green. It was a green screen, so you had to have complete imagination. There was nothing, and Kathy Bates just came out of the room before me, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going after Kathy Bates, no problem. And I could hear my heart racing in my ears. Literally, I'm like, okay, remember what you were taught. Remember what you taught. You just decided. You're super excited. And the role cost for me to have a British accent and to go in and be super excited. So and they told me, as soon as you walk in, you are on film immediately. Like, we're rolling camera. So Angela Bassett was sitting there, and then the whole crew, everybody was right around her. And she said, let's go. And you just go. And when you're in it, if you're really truly in it, you're not even in your head. It's like an out of body experience. You don't really remember what you said. You just remember you were in it and you delivered. That's it. And then she said, let's build it. Let's go bigger. Let's go even bigger. And that excitement became my tool to deliver. I think our mind is such a negative space that if we let it will talk to us down. Will talk us our dreams. Will give us fears. But when you use whatever you're given and say, nope, this is positive. Nope, I'm not going to listen to this. It can be your magic. It's your strength, right? The power of your mind is your strength.
Definitely. I've not been in that situation. I've been in situations where I've had to go, say, out on stage and do a talk, and it is that I've found that useful, of using those nerves as, oh, maybe I'm excited about this. Maybe this is going to go really well. And that does seem you can ride that wave, can't you, all the way through. Talking of working in the entertainment industry, and a lot of women experience sexism, especially in Hollywood. Is it any different for you? Are men intimidated by you at all, do you think? Or do you experience the same types of things regular women do, who haven't got the muscles?
I actually had a bad experience when I first came out here. I was doing runway modeling at the time. Never wanted to be a model, but it just found me. And I don't want to sound cocky or anything like that. I wanted to be an actress, but I said, okay, well, I'll just do some runway. And I was offered by this gentleman, to be a host on this traveling show. It was supposed to be a new TV channel called Man TV. I don't think it ever made it, but saw the plans and everything, and had a meeting with the gentleman, and he came out crawling on all fours, butt naked, and told me he's this powerful man. He wanted me to be his domina, and it scared me. I said, no, I'm not interested. I didn't want to sell my soul. And if people do favors and all that, that's, they have to justify that with their soul. But for me, it scared me away from acting. It has scared me away for a long time. That's why, because that happened to me when I was, how old was I? 9. And I didn't go back into acting until later in my 30s, because I just thought, let me just take care of my kids, and maybe this is not the right thing for me, because if that's what this industry is all about, I didn't want it. And then I got a manager and the right agency, and at the time I didn't have an agent. Well, I did. I had Bobby Ball, but it was a sports agency, commercials, and I just was more mature, maybe, to be out in LA too. And being around the right people to guide me is really important. And so then the second time around, I never had any of those experiences. I've never had to deal with sexism or anything like that. Everybody was very respectful on set with me. Even when we were filming The Righteous Gemstone, you have actually a person come from SAG that is there to make sure you are protected, and has a meeting with you and lets you know, hey, we are here. If you have any concerns, you can talk to us. So you feel very, very safe on set.
Wow, that's nuts. And do you know if the person who did that is still out there working now, or did you just
I don't know. No, I don't know. No, that person came from the music industry, wanted to do a TV channel, and I don't know. I know the Man TV never made it, but I don't know if that was renamed and named something else. I didn't follow it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. So looking at your IMDb, you've written and directed some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the next path for you? Is it moving into directing and writing, or are you just going to do that alongside everything else?
Oh, great question. I always wrote since I was 15 years old, wrote my own sketches and comedy and improv. And we had a tour in Germany and all of that theater wise. So it was always there for me. I'm always creative. I'm always full of ideas. Definitely, I took it really seriously and took actually classes to learn how to write comedy, how to build the game and everything, just to understand it. But I think as an actor, we should always know how the production side works, how the writing side works, to understand what really goes into it, because it makes you understand as an actor more why did somebody write what, and why is the scene set where it is, to understand what you're actually doing in it. But to answer your question, definitely I want to do some more writing. I would love to do some more theater and do maybe a one-woman show.
Okay. And I can hear the micro-budget, low-budget filmmakers asking, so the short films you've made, have you self-financed them? Have you crowdfunded? How'd you get those going?
Financed them all by myself. The good news is that, I always say when you surround yourself with your peers of actors, producers, directors, we all will have the same goal. We want to create. So a lot of us got together, from writer to director to, somebody had a camera, somebody had sound, or you just pay for the sound, whatever it is. And the actors, everybody's doing it for free. And that's how you can create your own projects. And I think I highly recommend it to if you don't belong to a group yet, go to an acting class. There's a bunch of people that are in a studio that would love to create with you. And that's how it happened for us in the Manhattan Beach Actors Studio. We all help each other out to create short films. And I think that's the easiest, cheapest way, affordable way to do it yourself. And, with our technology nowadays, you can take a phone, like Steven Spielberg says, and make your own movie nowadays.
Yeah, you can. And what did you learn from directing? What have you picked up from that you didn't know before?
Camera angles. What to tell a story, where I'm standing, what is my body language telling, how much can you see really, how much can you not. Obviously doing roles, I've learned that too, but also what goes into editing, what makes the editing process. A lot of times we're wondering, well, why didn't that make it? But it just didn't carry the story, because as an actor, we're just there to tell the story and move the story along. That's what we're doing there. And it's not about the ego. It's not about your shining all the time. If once you get rid of that, you become a really good actor. And I think understanding what makes the editing part, and what does something sound like? What does your voice sound like? On all of that I've learned while going through producing. And it's a brutal time. Be more forgiving to producers. They're on set 24/7, and the people that work the sets are one of the hardest working people. They have to be there all the time. Where when I was just filming in South Carolina, I have my green room, I have my trailer, and I have people bringing me food, and I just get shuffled around in a van. I'm living a great life. But on set, we had a day where we had 17-hour day. Well, that was my day. I can imagine what everybody else had to do, So I think don't be polite and be understanding, and don't play the diva.
Yeah, good advice. Having produced some films, I know that feeling that you have to be the first person there and you have to be the last person there. And not everything's your fault, but everything is your responsibility. And it's a lot of weight on your shoulders. And I can see why some people can't handle producing, because it's a tough gig. So yeah, that's good that you said that. So talking about the, how do you think the fitness? What have you taken from the fitness into the acting? Do you think?
Oh, great question. Discipline and focus. I think when you work on your body and your mind, which you do every time you go and decide, I'm going to go work out and work on my body. It takes time. The body doesn't transform overnight. Your acting career doesn't transform overnight. And, being disciplined means that you're going to show up for yourself. You're going to do your craft. I make sure that I work out every day. I make sure that I work on my acting every day. And I think when you do something every day, it becomes like you do it in your sleep. It's nothing, and if you really want it, you're going to do it every day. Because a lot of times people have this impression, I just get fit in 6 weeks, and it doesn't work that way. Or I'm going to be an actress. I have people that reach out to me and say, I want to be an actress today. I'm like, well, are you willing to put 10 years in? Are you willing to give it 5 years, before anything happens? And are you willing to train your body for a year before you see really the big changes? And most people are questioning it, or need to learn how to have discipline. And with my fitness, I've definitely learned discipline. I've learned how to do, how to program my day to be as successful as I can.
Lovely. And so as somebody who's not that fit, I'll confess, I'm going to go and shoot a feature film. And I can't exercise while I'm on set because I am exercising. I'm rushing around all over the place. Is there what should I eat first thing in the morning that's going to power me through that day? What can I do that's going to kind of help my body while I'm putting all that stress on it?
Well, definitely protein, all those are things. I think you should have a drink that has creatine in it. I think you should have a high protein meal with fat. I would stay away from too much sugar because sugar will make you crash. We actually have way more focus when we don't do a lot of sugar. We always think, I need sugar, so I just get that high. But actually what happens is that your insulin level dropped, meaning that your body hasn't eaten enough to feed the muscles, and now it will slow down its metabolism and start eating the muscle, and that's when you feel the sluggishness and you're like, oh my God, I can't do anything. But when you eat your protein and then you have your good fats like avocado or nuts or whatever, your body fuels itself the right way, and you have more focus and you have more energy. So I would highly recommend to stay away from the craft service that has all the muffins and all the chips and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough though, isn't it? But yeah, no, that's a good shout because I do go, chocolate bar, something like that to give me a kick of energy. Maybe I need a packet of nuts is what I need. It sounds like. What I was going to ask you was, yes. What I was going to ask you was, because I assumed, again, although you've got your comedy, been in loads of comedy stuff, I was like, there's got to be an action film in your future, isn't there? Is that not on the cards or not?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm working on it for sure. I've done a little bit here and there, but had the opportunity to audition for Mission Impossible. Didn't get it. Don't know. You never know why, but I know that they're looking at me. So if you are listening to this podcast, I'm here. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's get you in the next Fast and Furious 13 or whatever it is. Get you in there beating Vin Diesel up. That would be quite cool. So then let's go back to comedy. What is your favourite comedy film?
Train, Planes, and Automobiles with Steve Martin. My all-time favorite. Nice. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. And Liar Liar. I love Liar Liar too. Anchorman, Will Ferrell is my all-time favorite. I would love to do a movie with Will Ferrell. Could you imagine him and me being brother and sister?
Yeah, I think I could actually. I think I could imagine that. So then I'll finish up by asking you a question I ask all my guests, which is, have you got a motto? Have you got like a mantra or something that you kind of apply to life and work?
It's never too late. You can be fit at any age, and it's never too late to go after your dreams.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you want to hear about another independent filmmaker who's made comedy drama, then you could listen to my episode with Tiffany Kim Stevens, where she talks about her film Trigger Happy. It's been released on all streaming platforms, and she gives some great tips about getting the film out there.